Welcome all to the session on evolution, and in this presentation we will be trying to detail on fossils, the process of fossilization, and the how to find the determine the date, the fossil's age or the fossil date. Okay, now actually, what are fossils? Fossils is derived from the Latin word fossilis, which means to dig, and literally we can say that what is obtained by digging it can be considered as a fossil. Okay, so it is actually the remains or impressions of organisms uh, preserved from the geological past, or it can be defined as any preserved remains, impressions, or trace of any living thing from a past geological age. uh, it provides with evidence of extinct organisms, and also depending upon which geological age the fossil was obtained, we can even determine the evolutionary path of different groups of organisms. um, the fossils, the examples include bones, shells, exoskeletons, stone imprints of animals or microbes, objects preserved in amber, hair, petrified wood, oil, coal, and even DNA remnants. Uh, the whole totality of fossil records provide us with the evidence that there were organisms that have become extinct. So, extinct organisms, there is only one evidence that such group of organisms existed on the earth in the past, and that is through the fossils. Paleontology, it is a study of fossils, their age, method of formation, and evolutionary significance. So specimens are usually considered to be fossils if they are like over 10,000 years old, and the oldest fossils obtained are around 3.48 billion years old to 4.1 billion years old. And there have been plenty of uh, techniques developed to determine the age of the fossils, and those are known as the dating techniques or radiometric dating techniques. This allowed the scientists to quantitatively measure the absolute ages of rocks and hence the fossils they forced. And we'll see what is actually fossilization or how the fossil is formed. So for fossilization, it refers to the process by which a plant or an animal becomes a fossil. Okay, so how they become fossilized, that is what is the fossilization, the process referred to. So the animals and plants are only preserved and fossilized when they are suddenly buried in medium like water, lava, ice, or sand, cutting off or preventing any decomposition process. So as soon as the animal, plant, or any organism dies, its body decomposes sooner or later. Decomposition is usually caused by several agents. Uh, Scavengers of different kinds to bacteria and fungi take care of the soft parts very rapidly. Harder tissues such as shells, bones, and wood are more resistant to the process of decomposition. So whatever it is, the enzymes secreted by certain fungi and bacteria, the acids occurring naturally in the soil, and the combined action of the environmental agents such as water, wind, temperature destroys even the hardest organic remains with time. So, however, under very special circumstances, some parts may be preserved with varying amounts of modifications to form the fossils. Thus, for instance, shells which are inorganic in nature are usually preserved completely unaltered. Bones and wood, on the other hand, are often mineralized or petrified, that is, turned to stone. The organic matter in wood or bone gradually disintegrates, leaving the structure somewhat porous. So the organic matter inside it gets disintegrated while it seems to be a porous structure. Water seeps into the interior of the bone, and minerals dissolve in the water slowly gets deposited there. Thus, the porocytes gradually become the porosities gradually becomes filled with deposits of such materials like lime or silica. The portions of the original structure composed of inorganic materials may remain substantially as they were in life, just like how it was in the living condition. Similar patterns will be retained, but with the replaced materials, or they also may be dissolved away or and replaced by minerals. The replacing material may preserve the details of the original structure with great fidelity, or on the other hand, it may preserve only the general form of the original. Yet, fossils may contain some of the original material found in the living organisms. For example, the amino acids have been found in fossils of millions of years old. So these how like fossils are formed, but there are certain conditions for the fossilization process to take place. The fossilization is actually the sum of the phenomenon by which the remains of animals or plants are preserved. And the process of fossilization requires the occurrence of a set of conditions to occur. So the first one is the possession of hard parts. So organisms having hard parts are much more likely to become fossilized than those lacking a skeleton or as harder structures. These hard body parts include bones, teeth, shells, chitinous structure, or woody tissues of plants. So these can help in fossilization in a better way. Now, escape from immediate destruction. So the possibility that any given animal will leave a fossil record is very small, since the remains of most of these organisms are destroyed by the pressure exerted by various forces like atmosphere, mechanical forces such as wave action or crushing, and even biological agents. So, uh, unless it is protected from immediate destruction, the fossilization of especially the um, tender parts, the organic tissues, it is very difficult. So escape from immediate destruction is very important for getting it fossilized. Then the third is immediate burial in a medium capable of retarding or preventing decomposition. The animals or plants are only preserved and fossilized when they are suddenly buried in material, like in medium like lava or volcanic ash or dust of freshly erupted volcano, or in the ice or in an oil-rich soil, or in transparent resins of certain ancient plants, that is amber. Okay. Then in swamps or in desiccated deserts under huge piles of sand at high temperature, or underwater in layers of silt piling one above the other. So all these are certain conditions or situations where immediate burial into these medium can help in keeping the fossil asset or the material asset or the organism asset without getting decomposed. For example, organisms in the sea are more likely to fossilize than on the land, for it is in the marine habitat that sediments built more rapidly. So recent evidences suggest that rate of decay on the ocean bottom, uh, where temperature is low and pressures are great, is reduced. Okay, so decaying rate is reduced in deeper oceans where the water pressure is high, where the temperature is low. So the organism do have the tendency to get fossilized at a better rate. Okay, so immediate burial is actually a mechanism which can promote fossilization process. Another is the subsequent changes or vicissitudes. After burial, the fossil may be very much altered. The commonest type of alteration is flattening of the fossil due to the pressure, as more and more layers of sediments get piled on top of the bed containing the fossil. The bed may be further altered by folding and lateral movements of that particular the soil structural part. Eventually, it has to be uncovered by erosion if we are to get the possession of the fossil. And it might be further damaged during this process as well. So some fossils have been exposed in the past and has got reburied later. So flattening of the fossil is again, uh, it do have its positive as well as a negative effect on fossilization process. Fossilization may occur, but the structural features may be getting little modified or it may get altered. So these are the conditions that has to be met for proper fossilization to happen. So we saw that fossilization is better when when the plant or animal gets buried immediately after its death in certain medium which can help, which can prevent decomposition or which can reduce the decomposition rate. Okay. Now these are the different types of fossils. So we can see that the fossils, there are actually 5 types, and permineralization, casts and molds, replacement and recrystallization, compression fossils, and bioenumeration. So these things we will be dealing it in detail in the next presentation. And we can see that the formation of rocks and formation of fossils are interconnected. So geologists envision the Earth's crust having gone through a series of changes involving alteration of land masses by various changes, like glacier movements or land shifts, that resulted in the rise of mountain ranges and the leveling of other land when one landmass came to rest upon the other. The tremendous pressure exerted and the lack of available water was caused by the conversion of original landmass to the rock strata. So through the geological ages, then landmass over landmass formed layers of rocks, uh, and each of which had been exposed to the atmospheric environment at some time during the geological period. The lower strata solidified some 2 to 3 billion years ago. The rock strata of Earth include sedimentary and igneous rocks. The formation of both, we can see that remains significant in the process of fossilization. Um, by the process of erosion through the action of wind and rain and various other agents, we can see through the particles of the soil are carried into the stream and rivers and ultimately into the lakes and oceans. This sedimentary material carries with it the bodies of many aquatic organisms and also the bodies of terrestrial forms that happen to be swept along by the streams and rivers. The hard parts of these organisms may be preserved, and in the course of time, the sedimentary deposit, um, or maybe due to the pressure of water above it and also due to chemical reactions, gets converted into sedimentary rock. The nature of the sedimentary material determines the kind of sedimentary rock formed. Other natural processes that can help in what you call fossilization, it includes like submergence then and emergence of certain lands in the past. For instance, it is recognized that the land on the eastern coast of United States is gradually sinking into the sea, whereas the land on the Pacific coast is gradually rising. The sinking of the land into below the sea is known as a submergence, and the rising is known as a emergence. So, in the geological past, many regions of the Earth have undergone a series of like submergences and emergences, and as a consequence, in many places, a whole series of different layers of sedimentary rock is formed. The chief fossil-bearing sedimentary rocks are like sandstone, limestone, then phosphate rock, pine formation, etc. So these are a few geological background of the fossilization method. The most important thing which you need to know is what are fossils and what are the conditions that has to be met for an animal or plant to become fossils, and what is a condition that can actually help in fossilization process before we go into the different types of fossils. Okay, thank you.